Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to learn about something called velocity banking. And you want to know something that's really funny? I always make these videos once in a while. It's like, don't learn about velocity banking. How dare you click here? Velocity banking is a scam. It's never helped anybody. Don't click here. Velocity banking is a scam. Scam, scam. Right? And the reason that I do that is because I just simply do demonstrations like the Costco people. And then, I just teach it and then you'll tell me whether it's useful or not. I don't have to tell you if it's useful. I could just make videos about how this is all a scam, and some of you write back and it's like, "Don't stop teaching this. I love it. Thanks to VB, I feel in control of my finances. I am a Velocity Banking cult member." That's what you write to me. And so I'm like the Costco people. You ever go to Costco and you have people see I'm sorry, those workers handle out the food samples, and then they just sit there almost like their face, like they're you look at their face, they're not even excited about it, but they know like you're gonna take the samples and then so good that you're gonna buy the product. In fact, the only people that I've seen at Costco be really excited about their product are the Vitamix people. I think that's the only exception. But in general, okay, in general, every time I've gone to Costco and I see those food samples, the people who distribute them are almost emotionless, right? They just distribute it and they expect you to buy it. Same thing here. I just talk about velocity banking. In fact, I don't even have to tell you it's good. You know it's so good that eventually you're going to buy from me at whatever I'm selling, right? So let's go over velocity banking. So, what is velocity banking? All it is a debt payoff strategy where you're dumping all your money into debt with the help of a line of credit. That's all it is. Okay. So, in order to do velocity banking, we just need two things. Number one is a budget, and number two is a line of credit as our main operating account. And we have our budget here. We have all of our debts. We have 4 credit cards, 2 auto loans, 2 student loans, and a mortgage. And our goal is to get rid of all of our debt. All of these go to zero. And then this food, gas, insurance bucket um, stays the same, right? Because we have to pay for our living expenses. We got to go to work. But hey, debt is optional. I don't know if you knew that. Debt is optional, but these expenses, they're mandatory. Okay. So now that we've done our budget, we're going to do the velocity banking side. Now, here's the thing that most people have trouble with. Okay. You have the same income, you have the same expenses, but guess what? All of your money is not going to be in your savings account. A lot of people have trouble with this, especially with loans. So let's say you paid off all your credit card debt and you had these 4 loans, right? Actually 5 loans, four auto loans, a student loan, I'm sorry, 2 auto loans, 2 student loans, and a mortgage. Where, if you have leftover money, most people will never overpay their loans because it's scary. It's a one-way street. And if they keep using credit cards, they're going to screw up. And I'll tell you why. There's this phenomenon called segregation of income. The reason why we're broke is that we use our checking account as our main operating account. Money comes in, money gets split all over the place. Hey, I'm just going to put some things on my credit cards. And then, you want to just essentially feel like you just got to pay the minimums. And the other thing that affects you is the feeling that you have to save money. Okay, because we're not going to save money at all. All right, that's what we're not going to do. In fact, I'm going to show you what I do. This is just me. You don't have to follow me. But this is $0 in my checking account. But when money comes in, it just goes into the line of credit. Comes in, it's like a rest stop, right? The checking account is not where I store my money. I store all my money into the line of credit. Meaning I make an overpayment there, and then when I need the money, I just take it out of the line of credit. Okay. But what I'm saying here or want to show is I got $0 in my checking account pretty much whenever possible, right? And this is very hard for the average American. Now, before we get started, this is what I want to do. I want to show this question I asked ChatGPT. Why do have people have such a hard time overpaying loans? And I think it's such a great explanation. So let's go ahead and play it.
Many people struggle with overpaying loans due to a combination of psychological, financial, and systemic factors. Hash 1. Lack of understanding. Interest impact. People may not fully grasp how much interest adds up over time. They focus on monthly payments instead of the total cost of the loan. Loan amortization confusion. The structure of loan payments where interest dominates early payments can be confusing. It may not be obvious how extra payments save money. 2. Psychological barriers. Fear of losing liquidity. People prefer having cash available for emergencies or opportunities rather than using it to overpay loans. Behavioral comfort. Minimum payments feel safe and familiar, and overpaying feels risky or unnecessary. Debt normalization. Debt is so common that people accept it as a lifelong burden rather than something to eliminate. 3. Financial tight budgets. Many households live paycheck to paycheck, leaving little room for extra payments. Competing priorities, savings, retirement, education, or other investments often take precedence over loan overpayment. 4. Cultural and social influences, keeping up appearances. Some prioritize lifestyle upgrades over debt reduction to match societal expectations. Misinformation. Advice from well meaning but uninformed sources may discourage overpaying, such as the belief that keeping loans is good for your credit score. 5. Systemic barriers. Lender incentives. Banks often design loans and communication to encourage minimum payments, maximizing their profit. Low interest rates perception. With low loan rates, people believe investing elsewhere will yield better returns than debt repayment. Host 6. Emotional disconnect. Long-term loans, like mortgages, can make paying them off feel overwhelming, leading to apathy or avoidance. Instant gratification. Extra payments don't provide the immediate satisfaction that spending or saving does. Overcoming these hurdles often requires a shift in mindset, clear financial education, and tools to visualize the benefits of overpaying loans. For example, demonstrating how small extra payments can shave years off a mortgage can be a powerful motivator.
Oh, but we're not going to just make small extra payments, but what we're going to do is pay off the debt in the correct order, right? And so I think this is uh, a great explanation, right? Not many people understand how the loan works, but also psychological barriers. I think people greatly discount the psychological barrier aspect of paying off a loan. So when they say, "Oh, if you have $2,000 in a savings account, you can just easily just dump all of it into a mortgage," and I say, "Yeah, but what about the psychological barriers?" Right? People are not going to do that. But we're going to go ahead and talk about this and do this. So, let's assume we have access to essentially a huge credit card, right? And they call it a Hugh. Let me just do this. I don't know if you ever heard of our good friend Hugh Jass. That's a joke from The Simpsons. But Hugh Jass has a huge credit card like device called a line of credit, and we'll say it has a $90,000 limit, right? And how much do we have in credit card debt? 5, 8, 15, 27. So that's four credit cards, and then this is $55,000 of debt. Okay. Now we don't have to have a huge credit line of credit like $90,000, but my point is that you can get products out there that's kind of like a credit card where you could literally go to the bank's website, click a button, and borrow up to a huge amount called a home equity line of credit. So this is my home equity line of credit. I go to the bank's website. I could literally just dump 280 into my checking account and borrow that money. Now, here's the crazy thing. Okay. Um, Most people when they watch these velocity banking videos, they're like, I only have this little money left over. How do I get a line of credit? And I'm gonna tell you the truth, folks. Banks don't lend money to people who need it. And you might be like, that makes no sense. And it's like, yeah, but it does. Because if they lent money to people who are desperate for it, they're not going to get paid back. And I'm going to tell you something, a bank would rather have someone pay them back early than never at all, right? There's a reason why if you pay back loans early, yeah, your credit score might drop a little bit, but they'll still give you new loans. But you know what they won't do is if you're like late, if you're I don't know, not paying at all, then they're like denied. You know what I mean? Denied. So we have to really understand things from the bank's perspective. But let's just say, okay, we did get a line of credit free and clear. I'm not saying that you're going to get it. I'm saying, let's say we did. And if you want to see a real life case study where the line of credit wasn't free and clear, that someone got it before they ever needed, again, we have the 99-cent exclusive YouTube live stream. So we go over that. Put that on a paywall for the most dedicated YouTube channel members, AKA, we call them our Velocity Banking cult because they have a love and dedication to the idea, to the concept of paying off your debt early using a line of credit. All right. So now we're gonna have something called cash flow. So it's income minus expenses, and then we have this cash flow number. And let's go ahead and move that. Was it $55,000? So it's 5, 8, 15, 27, and I can't even remember. All right. So this is $55,000 of debt. So 55000. Do we need the 90? We probably don't. But let's go ahead and remove these payments from our life. So 0000. And guess what? We literally went from $165 to 1943 in an instant. Wouldn't that line of credit be a saver at this moment in your life? It probably would. But the sad part is you won't get it because you're not understanding how the banks work and you want to get the credit when you need it. Unless I brainwashed you enough to understand that banks don't lend money to people who need it. And that's why I have over $575,000 in lines of credit, right? It's just me when I had the access to the line of credit. This is me. I may have appeared in a Marvel superhero movie, or I may have transformed into an animal called the goat, the greatest of all time, because I did pay off my mortgage in 2 years and 9 months. Okay. So let's go ahead. Now, final step is because we want to pay off our debt and make it easy for us is we put our entire paycheck, entire $6,600 into the line of credit. Okay. And then we take our expenses out. And then after every single month, the balance of the line of credit is going to go down by 2 grand. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Math is easy. And here we got goats. So every time we do this process of paying off debt, we're gonna add a goat because that's what we are. We're the greatest of all time. I don't think there's a single person that I know who paid off their mortgage in 2 years and 9 months like I did. All right. So that's why ChatGPT says you're the goat. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I got the Meta AI from WhatsApp to draw a goat, velocity banking goat. And that's what we got there. So let's go ahead and do this. And if you want to know how the interest is calculated, just use the average function, average daily balance, multiplied by the interest rate, which is 8%, and then you divide by 12 because it's monthly. Calculation is monthly, and then I'm just going to copy and paste, copy and paste. All right, and then bam. Oh, I forgot the goats. I got to copy the goats too. Every single month we're on this journey. We're just adding more goats to our goat collection. Right? You are the greatest of all time. I promise. All right. So now in about 32 months, in about, yeah, 32 months, we paid off all the credit card debt. And so 32 months is 55K. And so now we got to deal with the auto loans. Okay. So let's go ahead and figure out what's going on with the auto loans in 32 months. So we have this loan calculator right here 20, 32, 32, 32, 32, 32. And I'm going to take these two auto loans and move them into the line of credit. Why is that? It's because we're cash flow focused, not interest rate focused. Because if it was all about the interest rate, I'd be focusing on this bad boy right here and probably this student loan. But think about this. I paid 22 grand. I get 800 and something dollars in my cash flow. If I focus on this one, 200,000, I only get $885 in my cash flow. So from a bang for your buck perspective, I should pay off these loans. The easiest way to figure out how to do this is what we call the cash flow index method. And with amortized loans, based on the nature of amortized loans, the loans do die off and the cash flow index does change over time. So let me go ahead and do this, copy values, and then I am going to cover this. So 23 grand. So 23 grand. And I'm going to copy and paste this. Yes. Okay. Right. Are you as excited as I am? I am so excited. I am too excited. Remember Howard Dean? I don't know if you know who Howard Dean is, but he was like a presidential candidate in like the early 2000s. And then his presidential candidacy literally got ruined by him being way too overexcited about talking about other states about how they're gonna win or something like that. And then, yeah, it's kind of strange how your presidential campaign can be ruined by that. But let's go ahead and do this. All right, so now these turn to zero. So what's our new cash flow? It's 2,800. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. All right, so I'm gonna Control V, copy, paste, and now our cash flow is 2808.66. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. And we see, whoa, 2 auto loans and paid off in about 8 months. Ooh, almost 8 months. Okay. So now let's go ahead and do this, right? So do this. So in 41 months, it's all paid off. Is that right? Is that right? Yeah, 41 months. 41 months, it is all paid off. So it's 55 plus 25 plus 22, 102K. Okay, 102K. All right, and then now let's go ahead and deal with our student loans. So where's our student loans? Is it 41 months? So these are all 0, 0, and then 41, 41. Okay, so this is what I would do with student loans. I would use something called the chunking method, which is just to move parts of the loan into the line of credit, right? But I might be too lazy to do that even here just because I don't want to spend too much. No, no, let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So basically, if you have a higher than 50 CFI in general, okay, um, if especially if you're dealing with a lower interest rate loan. Now, there's not that much difference here, 7 and 8%. But if you're dealing with, let's say, like a mortgage, 3%, you might want to use the chunking method to help you pay it off. But let's go ahead and do a loan one at a time. So I'm going to open up the Velocity Banking Calculator. So give me one moment. So what do we do with our velocity banking calculator? We just fill in the details and that's it. So let's see, let me just fill in the details. So we're going to work on this student loan first, which is 35,000. So 35000. What's the current balance? It's 25,664.42. So let's go ahead and do that. 25,664.42. What's the interest rate? The interest rate 7% at 10 years, and the payment amount is 406.38. 406.38. Okay, and then what is the monthly income? The monthly income is, I don't even know. No, actually, it's 6,600. 6,600. And what we're trying to do is get everything except for the loan that we're going to pay off for expenses. So it's going to be these three. And I'm going to copy this. And it'd be 3384.96. So 3384, oopsie, 3384.96. 0.7 years. Amazing. Amazing. All right. So now what's 0.7 times 12? So we'll say 9 months. So that'll be 50 months to pay off, I think 137K. Okay, so 35 plus 102 is 137. This is 0, right? And now we just do the same thing. So I just go back here. This is 0. I type in 50, 50, right? And then I just type in the same thing. So now it's 45, 0, 0, 0, 45, 45, 0, 0, 0. What's the current balance? It's 29,445.68, 29,445.68. What's the percentage of distinct, whoopsie, excuse me, excuse my manners. All right, so 6% at 499.59, 499.59. And then now let's just redo the expenses. So now if I go in here, this is going to be 0, and then our expenses is 2885.37. So now it's 2885.37. 0.7 years. Okay. So that's literally about 1.5 years. and let's do this. So point seven point seven times 12. That's, we'll say another 9 months. 8 point, well, yeah, whatever. 59 months and 137. So 137 plus 45. That's 182K, 182K. And then now, okay, we just do the same thing with our mortgage. 210,000 at 3% in 59 months. 59 months. This is gone, and now we just kind of do the same thing. So 210,000, okay, at 3%, 30. And then what's this right here? 187,120.93. 187,120.993. Whoa, not 30%, 3. And then our interest rate or payment 885.37. 885.37. Okay. And so now our living expenses should be $2,000. Let me just quickly check. Yep, $2,000. We got that. So 2000, and then we'll blam 3.6 years. We're good. So let's go ahead and do this. 59 divided by 12 plus 3.6. So that's 8.5 years. And that will be 182 plus 210, 392K. Look how easy that was. 0, 0. And now we got what I call rich people problems. And if you don't know what rich people problems are, is when you have too much money in your savings account. So that's why it's much easier to raise money from rich people than poor people, because poor people always try to hold on to their savings, and rich people, once like they got too much savings, it's like, whoa, I got too much of it, and I know that I'm losing to inflation. So I like to invest in a vehicle that gives me around 10 to 12%, right? That's what you might hear a lot. Not saying that I offer anything like that, but I'm just saying I know that those are rich people problems, and we're debt free in 8.5 years. And you want to know something crazy? I always see things like velocity banking videos like, I paid off my debt. You can pay off your mortgage in 7 to 10 years. 7 to 10 years. Are you insane? 3.6 in this demonstration. 3.6. Now, some people might say velocity banking is so unrealistic, and I'm going to agree with you because, every time I try to do my situation here, I've never gone anywhere close to being able to pay off a mortgage in 2.9 years or 2.2 years and 9 months, right? And that's what I did right here. And so it's like, yeah, I guess it is unrealistic. I'm not gonna lie. Everything I do is pretty unrealistic. And that's why I do these demonstrations so that you can see the easy bridge to where I am. And the reason I made this channel, so it's like, hey, I don't want to be alone at the top of the mountain. I don't, there's that phrase, it's lonely at the top. I don't want to be lonely at the top. I like enjoying my life with people. And so many people are stressed, tired, they're irrational. The more money you have, the more rational you get. But the less money you have, everything is like, this is my last chance to do anything in life. And that's why a lot of times when you're at the brink of disaster, you make a lot of poor financial decisions. Not gonna lie. And here's the other thing too, one of the cool things that you might be able to learn, and this is a quick plug for Renatus. If you have never heard of Renatus, or maybe you might have, and you went to a few meetings, but you didn't just join, I'm gonna kind of pitch you here. So where did I learn about velocity banking? I learned from Renatus. Okay, so if you're interested in upping your real estate investing or financial literacy game, click the Google form link below. Now, okay, velocity banking is not the only thing that you need to learn. Because what if you did something stupid? I don't know, buy $1 million property like the single family home in Southern California, maybe in Los Angeles, and decide to be a landlord, right? Learn how to do it right. Because velocity banking, even if you bought a property in Los Angeles and decide to be a landlord, it probably won't help you, right? And we all know in the LA County area, okay, you'll pay an $8,000 mortgage when you could rent the same house for $4,000. So don't be stupid, okay? Now I'm not saying you're stupid if you don't join Renatus. I'm saying that you want a firm foundation about how all this stuff works, and that's how I have over $575,000 in credit, because I understood credit and I learned how to buy properties at a discount. That's what you gotta learn too. Buy properties at a discount. So if you're complaining like, why are these home prices so high? Because you ain't buying properties at a discount. You're a retail buyer. You ain't an investor. You're a retail buyer, and you don't want to be a retail buyer. Okay, well, that's it for today. This is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. Again, I don't know why y'all clicked here. I keep telling you this VB thing is a scam. Don't learn it. Don't learn it. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for today, folks. Have a great day, and we'll see you until the next video.